Netflix debuted this past weekend the next season of Afterlife, the comedy drama series from the mind of Ricky Gervais. All right, season 2 of Afterlife follows a man as he continues to cope with his life after the untimely death of his beloved wife. The show stars Ricky Gervais, Kerry Godliman, Ashley Jensen, Tom Basden, Tony Way, Mandeep Dhillon, Joe Wilkinson, and Penelope Wilton. Now, I remember when I first finished season 1 of Afterlife, I was very much satisfied with how the show ended off. And for the time being, I didn't think that it was going to get a season 2. Not because the show was bad. The show was terrific. But I thought that the story was done. I thought that it was wrapped up perfectly. So when I first heard about season 2 coming out, I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, like, again, I was happy because I liked the show, but of course I was a little worried because I'm like, you know what, season 1 ended so perfectly. What else is there possibly for them to say as far as this man's journey to find, the meaning of his life? And when I looked at the differences between season 1 and season 2, season 1 of the show deals more with the short-term battle after losing someone that you loved to, make sure that there's still like some kind of meaning in your life. But I think the bigger emphasis in season 1 is at the very least Tony Johnson, the main character, learning to be kind to the people who are trying to be kind to him in his tough time. And season 2, or season 1, wraps up with him deciding to be like, you know what, let me at least be good to the people that are trying to be good to me. And then season 2 comes along, and that's more of Tony's struggle to be happy with himself and say that his life still is worth it. One of the things that I think stands out the most about this show is, of course, that, again, coming from Ricky Gervais, it's a very funny show. I don't think anything from the mind of Ricky Gervais can, I don't think you can expect anything less. But there's something that feels very nuanced, but at the same time very powerful about the emotion that the show tries to portray, or succeeds in portraying. When I think of certain like Oscar baity or scenes that are like overly dramatic just for the purpose of getting attention, I guess depending on the example, it works. But at the same time, you can still kind of see like, oh, okay, like, this is like, they're trying too hard. But whereas with this show, there's something that feels very nuanced about it. There's a very down-to-earth feeling, but at the same time, there's nothing that ever... It's not like the show doesn't swell up in its more intensely emotional moments. Those moments are still very powerful, and those moments are still moments that stick with me days after finishing the show. I binged the entire show in one in one day. Just shows you how busy I am at the moment. So I think that nuanced but powerful approach to everything that the show is portraying gives it very much a sense of authenticity. Like I said, there's a very down-to-earth feeling about it all. Every person in the show, as quirky and individualistic as they are, they all feel like someone that you can, actually meet, someone that you can actually know. From Tony Johnson or to all the other characters in his life. And this is a very honest and insightful, but at the same time very respectful and sensitive approach to, love and loss. And, Tony experiences a lot of suicidal thoughts, and this show portrays that in, I think, possibly the best way possible. I mean, I'm thankful enough to have never thought about committing suicide or anything like that, but at least from my point of view, I can't say anything about the show that maybe it's tough to watch, but at the same time, it never feels gratuitous. It never feels disrespectful. And I believe it, if that makes sense. I believe it in everything that it's trying to say. The show is very much the perfect balance between heartbreak and humor. And again, as funny as this show is, I think the moments that stand out more are the more dramatic moments. Ricky Gervais is absolutely wonderful in this entire series, but I noticed more just like the more poignant and sensitive side to his acting ability and how powerful that possibly can be in certain scenes when Tony is going through a rough time and he is getting very emotional for obviously justifiable reasons. And those are the moments where I was kind of exposed to just like what kind of actor Ricky Gervais is. He's very convincing. This season, his performance was a bit more heightened on the emotional end of things, but it works very, very well coming from him. And again, he stars in the show, he directs the show, he writes the show. He is the heart and soul of this show. I consider this like a big step forward from for someone like him, because when I think of Ricky Gervais, I think of the, acerbic, prickly comedian that, comes out with all these, stand-up comedy specials, that says, a bunch of brazen, but I guess, controversial, material to the roasting of celebrity A-listers at the Golden Globes. So for him to come out with something like this, again, shows just how multidimensional, people can be. And I highly, highly recommend you watch this show. In terms of giving my final mark on the show, I'm giving this season of Afterlife, season 2, an A+. I absolutely adored this show. I guess, you know what? I am looking forward to, hopefully, is season 3. Because, again, I was wrong with season 2 as about, where can I possibly go from here? And from this season, I learned that, okay, his journey's not over yet. At least I don't think it's over yet. I want more, and I think there's more out there. Don't be afraid to comment in the comment section below. Have you ever actually seen any bits and pieces of Afterlife? What did you think of season 1? And more importantly, what did you think of season 2, the here and now, the season that just debuted this past weekend? I really I'm curious to see, what your thoughts are on all this. So again, don't be shy. Let's start a debate on this. I want to see what you guys are thinking. Hi, I'm Joe Acierno. Did you enjoy that clip from Real Talk with Joe Acierno? Don't be shy about it. Subscribe. And hit the bell to get notifications on more fun and engaging takes on the entertainment industry. It's that simple.